Right, hello everybody, good morning and welcome to my morning coffee, which today I'm having at the seat and table of the Mercedes Marco Polo. Now, I've seen on other reviews that people say this is quite flimsy and the positioning is quite awkward, and I have to agree, compared to the California that has its seats in the boot lid and its table on the side door, it's quite an awkward place to have it behind the rear seats. It does impede on luggage space, and compared with the California that tucks it into the boot lid, it's just not as good. But in terms of flimsiness, I don't agree at all. I think as far as camping tables go, this is pretty firm and this is pretty comfy, and I have to say this is genuinely my morning coffee because I come into work early to film with this, and it's quite a pleasant place to be. Don't get me wrong, we are on tarmac, so grass would be nicer, but as far as they go, a nice camping setup. But I thought if I start here I can brush past this without having to kind of assemble it. So let's focus on the actual car. So this is a Mercedes Marco Polo, named after the famed Italian merchant who travelled Europe and Asia, and it's a Westphalia conversion. Let me apologise to the Germans who live in the Westphalia region. I'm probably butchering how you say that. I imagine the correct pronunciation is much angrier, probably Westphalia, something along those lines. Daimler actually bought Westphalia in 1999. They bought 49% of it, and the year after they bought the remaining 51%. So for around 8-9 years, Westphalia was in-house at Mercedes, which I think is why everything fits so nicely together. It all works, it all feels like a Mercedes, not like someone's come in and done an aftermarket conversion on it. If Mercedes were trying to capture the market for people who wanted a California but a slightly more premium version, then I think they've succeeded. There's 4 ways you can open the electric door. You can even close it, which I think is just always cool when you can do something to the car as you walk away. Loop of the camera. It just feels very Bond, so well done Mercedes. The other way of doing it is simply doing that with the door handle and letting it open. So let's step inside. So this is what it looks like inside. You have what Mercedes called yacht wood flooring. You have a kind of piano black kitchenette with a fridge, some hobs and a sink, and all of these doors are soft close, so it just feels a little bit more premium than what you'd expect from a normal camper conversion. There's also extendable drawers, which the California, I'm told, doesn't have, and there is a sliding door here with a first aid kit should you trap your fingers in the sliding door. You also have a slide out table here, which is actually a very good use of space. Now, I've seen people complain about this being flimsy also, but I'm not going to stand on it, but I don't think you're going to be knocking anything off there. It feels pretty solid. Back here, you also have this huge Marco Polo branding and speakers either side, and this is actually doubles down into storage as well, which is quite a good space, I have to say. But the branding, piano black, the colour scheme, the leather, it all feels very nice in here. I'm not sure it's going to suit every type of camper because some people like to rough it, but if you are looking for a premium edge, this is the place to be. You have a vanity mirror here that you could probably clean your teeth from if you needed to, or wash your face, and more storage at the back. Now there is a little button to close the door there, which again feels very nice. The other thing I like about these chairs is they do, at the pull of this, pull all the way forward, which I don't know how zoomed in I'm going to be now. I feel is quite a nice feature, because if you were saying driving with your passengers as far back as they can go, it almost feels like they're the naughty kids at the back of the bus. But if you can move it forward, you're all traveling together, which I think is a nice touch. Slide down here. I have to admit, when I saw Matt Watson sliding all over the place in this car, I thought, why is he all over the floor? But you have to do this to show everything. My MD's gonna come in and be like, why are your trousers so dusty? So here you have a light switch for the ambient lighting down there, USB socket and a European plug. You need an adapter if you live in the UK because that's all they provide. That's obviously the fuse. Now, so of course, one of the main features in the back of the Marco Polo is the fact that this reclines into a bed. Now, you have to pull this all the way forward to make sure that there's enough room to recline. Remove the headrests, and then there's 2 buttons. Now, this takes quite a while. I've seen people talk about this on the reviews. This takes quite a while. For me, a simple dunk mechanism would have been easy. I'm not sure electrifying this has actually made things more convenient, but I wanted to time it because I don't know if you're ever in a rush to go to sleep, this is not the place to do it. Ready? Go. So perhaps do some sort of time lapse here to fill the time, or maybe talk about the Wraith that we have in, or the Panamera. I really want to get some videos of those because they're pretty special, but as you can see, it's going. Also, while I'm here, there is ISOFIX, so if you do need to put a baby seat in, you can. So, "26 seconds. Now, that doesn't seem like that long a time to wait, in fairness, but compared to dunk, it seems like an age. The next thing you do is fold this little thing down, that's it, and then push the seats back to almost trap it and create some sort of bed. And then you have a bed, which is quite nice. It is comfortable. This can go a little bit more flat than I've just squashed it. And you can also get a mattress topper, but this is quite a comfortable place to be. There are also buttons near the recline button that can affect the stiffness of all of these cushions, which is a pretty impressive feature because some people are quite specific about how hard they like their mattress. So yeah, this is a nice space. It's not as wide as a double bed, but if you're 2 kind of average sized humans, you could comfortably sleep down here. Oh, what a fantastic place to be. And the other thing I really like about this is the window folds much like a Range Rover. You don't have to take the whole tailgate, which is fantastic because I think waking up here in the morning and looking over your grass would be a really nice start to the day. I don't know if I can close it from here, but big fan of that. And if you want a little bit more privacy, the blinds that run the whole way through can be attached if you know how. So carrying on with the blinds, they are all around and they do just simply clip in, same as the back. I just made a bit of a mess of that. If you peer down the side, you can see through, but there is a black surround to all the windows, which does mean you pretty much get full privacy. If there was a peeping Tom there, perhaps they could potentially see you, but they'd have to try quite hard. These windows open, and again, you have blinds here and on the windows this side. The one blind that is a bit problematic is the front blind, which is, I don't really know what to make of it. It's quite awkward. This hooks on here. I think that's the best place to start because it gives you kind of a grounding. These then hook over the ends of this, and the other one on the other end, as such. You then have suction pads on the bottom, on both sides, so you can just imagine I'm hooking this on, like so, doing that up. And then the suction pads clip on there, and then you have these suction pads for the window as well. Now, look, if you're a capable human being, this is a very effective system. It's pretty much blackout, it's quite easy to put up, but this is a £70,000 camper van. And maybe I'm biased because I'm just taking photos of the canals or naus that we have in, and that has very effective curtains that run on rails. So this does feel like a bit of a faff for something that's as expensive, but it works. While I am sat here, I'll show you the mechanism for the seats, because I think this is quite simple and works very well. So there's a little toggle there, and if the seats are positioned correctly, that's the little toggle, as you can see, and they both do that. So I'll put this around as well. Okay, again, so the seat has to be forward to give it room to spin. But I have to say, when they are like that, it does create a nice little dining area. So yeah, top marks Mercedes on the seats. I think they work very easily. One of the only things you didn't electrify, and it works fantastic. Now the other thing that you'll definitely use if you buy one of these is the pop-up roof, and that is controlled through this little control panel here. You have controls for your freezer, heating, roof. Now you click on the roof with that button there. You need the ignition on, a door open, but the engine not running. And that's because when the roof comes up, it needs air to expand. Otherwise, presumably, all the occupants implode and it's messy. So then you just hold open. So quite a bit of added height, and this is what the space looks like. Now this is a net that connects to these points and it comes across here, and presumably, looking at this sign, it stops children from rolling off and impaling themselves on the front seats. Proper look. It is actually very comfy. Now I remember reading that you need to sleep with your head that end because this is quite low, and it is, but I'll show you the underneath here. You have springs, plastic springs that work really well, and then you've got this mattress top of it. Is actually incredibly comfortable. So this is the roof. You have windows either side, so you can let in light if it gets a bit warm in here, which is very handy. And you do have these drop down lights which you can change the brightness off if you want, so they can be positioned wherever you want. And nice little reading lights, they work quite well. You've got another little window there, and a light on this side as well. And then you also have a USB point there, which is actually very handy. So this is what the car looks like from this angle, and I'll pop down and show it you from the outside. So that is the height of the roof when it's up. Pretty damn tall, but one of the cool features, which I'll show you here, is there are two very simple little clips here and here, which again, not electrified, but very simple, and allow you to stand up. So I'm 5'10", and I've got plenty of headroom. Even if you were slightly taller, it just gives you a nice bit of room to maneuver around the space. So that is everything inside. Now I'm going to go on a drive because this is effectively a car review. I want to see how it drives in comparison to a California, which I have driven, and yeah, let's see how the electrified Mercedes fares. Last few things before we go on a drive. There is this little shower hookup here, this little on and off button that clearly has some sort of pump, and a little clip here that you can attach the shower, if it comes with one, to there, stand underneath, have a nice wash in the morning, which would be a great start to the morning. Also, there's a little bit more storage here I haven't shown you, sliding doors. And what I've noticed, or rather what my colleague just noticed, is the blackout blinds actually have silver on the other side, and he said, is that for a projector? And I'm thinking, no, but it could be. If you set up the chairs and the table there and had a projector plugged into a hookup that you probably have at a campsite, bang, that'd be pretty good. If it's not designed for that Mercedes, the next generation, make that white instead of silver, and you could be on something. Last few things, very basic, but this is your electrical hookup, and your water tank fills there. So I think that's everything. Now let's go on a drive. Right, here we are. Now, I've driven this thing before, so what I can say immediately is it feels very typically Mercedes. So they have got the older generation setup in here, but you have automatic off, you have a touchpad here, dynamic select. So there is a car coming around the corner. What I'm going to do is immediately put it into sport, because that's what everyone wants to know. I am in the V250, so let's see how it performs. So pulling out of here, just plant my foot, and you've got a flappy paddle as well. I have to say, this thing does motor. That is pretty impressive. So let's see how the gearbox works. We're cruising at 40 now. If I plant it, kick down, and pick up. Yeah, this feels like a very nice van. Let's say that. You're welcome, Mercedes, for such a sublime review of your engineering. But it does just typically kind of high driving position, but everything feels very quality in here. So a very nice van is the best way I can describe it. You do have great visibility being so high up, and the front end isn't very long, so you can place it, and it doesn't feel like it's 4 meter plus wheelbase. It actually feels quite nimble to drive, and I imagine on a long tour of Europe or wherever you go, this would be quite a nice place to be. You have cruise control, you have a limiter, multifunction steering wheel, heated seats, and with it's got enough power as well, the V250 that I'm in. So I guess the question is it worth the £70,000 price tag? I'd be really struggling to spend that myself. One, because I don't have 70k, but also because I'm almost tempted to buy an old van and kit it out myself. But for the market it's trying to attract, you think new Californias can cost that much? And I also think, in fairness, comparison with Californias is almost a bit unfair, because the Marco Polo, this is the first attempt at a Marco Polo, and I always think that manufacturers make a car and then the facelift model, generally speaking, is more practically put together and a better vehicle. Sometimes the looks go astray, but you probably have to let this settle in for a few years until you get the 3rd, 4th generation Marco Polo to really be a fair comparison with the California that's been going ages. So I think it's going to tick a lot of boxes for quite a few people who like the idea of touring in something that is a bit more premium, and it could well attract younger people as well. I feel this is more for an older market if California's on their style. But then again, Californias don't just attract. California's typically attracted a surfer who doesn't wash their hair, or the same one guy with a flannel shirt, goatee, and Dub Nation sticker. But these days you see families in Californias, you see everyone in California. So can it compete with the California? I think if you're looking for a premium California, look no further, you have it. But is it going to steal the market? I don't think so. That being said, I am a huge fan. I do like the Marco Polo, and it's a great place to be and drive, so I guess that's as good a plaudit as you're going to get, really. But 70,000 on a very nice van. There is a California. My brother, I should wave to you. You bloody poor.